in the form of prasadam. One can taste the beauty of Krishna through the hands in the form of, yes, service to Krishna. One can taste the beauty of Krishna through the legs by going to the holy places, going to the temple, dancing in kirtan, yes. Through all of the senses one can taste the beauty of Krishna. And when one experiences that beauty through all the various senses, then all material things will appear to be dead, pale, no taste. But one has to get this experience, this higher taste. It's an experience. But then, that experience is given by Krishna through the bona fide spiritual master when one sincerely practices. The best example is that of Dhanurdas. You heard of Dhanurdas? Dhanurdas. This is a story from Sri Sampradaya. You heard? No. So there was this man, he had another name before, I don't remember. But whatever, so he was seeing as the grand procession of Lord Ranganath was going on, this man was holding an umbrella over a lady and looking at her beautiful eyes. So people were amazed. Everyone is looking at Lord Ranganath, this man is looking at this lady's eyes. They were shocked and amazed. So they went and told Ramacharya. So he said, go call him. So Ramacharya asked him, so why are you looking at this lady's eyes? He said, I have not seen anything more beautiful than that. So Sripad Ramacharya said, okay, what if I show you something more beautiful? Okay, I'll accept. And then the next day, Sripad Ramacharya called him to have darshan of Lord Ranganath. And Ramacharya himself revealed the form of Lord Ranganath to this man. So it was not an ordinary darshan, it was a revelation by the Acharya. And then he saw those beautiful lotus-like eyes of Lord Ranganath. Of course, this is special kripa. The man surrendered on the spot. And he just joined Ramacharya. Of course, he got them married. But both of them became such exalted Vaishnavas. So the point is that higher taste is a matter of revelation. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes a very important point here towards the end of the purport. He says, before that, therefore with the development of the bhakti cult, with the application, just see the precise language, with the application of positive service to the positive form. What has to be there? Application. There has to be application of the process. One naturally becomes detached from inferior things and he becomes attached to superior things. Similarly, the bhakti cult, being the supermost occupation of the living being, leads him out of material sense enjoyment. That is a sign of pure devotee. He is not a fool, nor is he engaged in the inferior energies, nor does he have material values. This is not possible by dry reasoning. It's not a matter of dry reasoning, some logic and arguments. And then he says, it actually happens by the grace of the Almighty. How it happens? By the grace of the Almighty. Development of that higher taste is actually a matter of grace. It only happens by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Okay? just on that point here. Okay, somebody read this.
What form does that satisfaction of the mind take?
So this is a continuation from the previous verse. So the previous verse said, Yenatma suprasiddhati, satisfaction. So what is the form of satisfaction?
This satisfaction of the mind is filled with knowledge and experience of the form, qualities and sweetness of the Lord, which cause complete disgust with all inferior objects.
Did you know the word? What? Knowledge and experience. Again, it's an experience of the form, qualities and sweetness of the Lord. That experience has to be. Go ahead.
That is explained in this verse. This bhakti is endowed yojita in an excellent manner,
Prakarshena.
Vidasya Sankhya and other loving emotions. Another meaning of bhakti yoga for yojita is bhakti yoga has been made the only goal, religion. Separate endeavor for attaining knowledge and detachment are not necessary in the practice of bhakti.
Yes, so separate endeavor for knowledge and detachment are not necessary. Okay, so just on that point, so then we are studying, right? So are we not endeavoring for knowledge? And we are told to follow the 4 regulative principles, so that's, are we not endeavoring for detachment? You're saying no, why? Why not?
The primary thing is to chant, and whatever helps us in doing that, we are just following.
Okay, that's true, but still, then this statement is proved false, isn't it? Separate endeavor for attaining knowledge and detachment.
It's not separate, it's for assisting the primary endeavor. It's not independent of bhakti. We are doing
Yes, that's a good point. It is not independent of bhakti, rather, it is a part of bhakti itself. As we have said the point many times, I think. Why are we studying?
To sustain, support our bhakti.
Yes, to support our bhakti. Because it is Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Therefore, it is a part of bhakti. It is Guru's instruction. Why are we following 4 regulative principles? It is Guru's instruction. Therefore, it is a part of bhakti. It is not independent of bhakti. Okay, go ahead.
Are not necessary in the practice of bhakti, for bhakti itself produces them. Very quickly, Ashur, at the time of performing bhakti, they are attained, for it is said, Bhakti prasano bhavo.
Yes, so this is a very important verse. Bhakti parishanvo viraktir anyatra chesha trika ekagalah prapadyamanasya yamshana yatashnatah syus tushti pushti kshudapaya anughasam.
Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These 3 occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of pleasure, in the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating.
Right, so just as there are 3 effects of eating, tushti, pushti, kshudapai. Tushti means satisfaction, pushti means nourishment, and kshudapai means cessation of hunger. These 3 are the effects of eating. Similarly, there are 3 effects of the practice of devotional service. Tushti. So Jiva Goswami comments on the verse and he says, Tushti is analogous to bhakti. Okay, so you can see there are 3 corresponding things. The 3 corresponding effects are what? Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, detachment. So Tushti is analogous to devotion or bhakti. Pushti is analogous to Pareshanubhava, or the direct experience of the Supreme Lord. And Kshudapaya, cessation of hunger, is analogous to Virakti. The Tushti is equivalent to devotion or bhakti. Then Pushti to Pareshanubhava, direct experience of the Supreme Lord. And Kshudapaya to Virakti. So, as the previous verse has said, it is the bhakti element which satisfies the soul. When there is bhakti, there is satisfaction. Bhakti means what? Bhakti means what?
Service to the Lord.
Devotion.
Following
Devotional
Guru's
service.
instruction.
Loving devotion.
Following Guru's instruction.
Okay, following instruction. But they said, what does the devotion mean?
Love.
Love. Love means what?
Service.
Okay, love means service, but what type of service?
Pure.
Pure
Krishna.
Ahaituki. Ahaituki. Without any other motive, only one motive. What is that? To please the Lord. When that type of devotional service is practiced, there is tushti, complete satisfaction. And when the Lord is pleased, He reciprocates with the devotee and gives an experience, direct experience. Para Isha Anubhava. Para Isha is Supreme Lord, Anubhava means experience. So one experiences the Supreme Lord, how the Supreme Lord is reciprocating with the devotee and all that. And then that's pushti, that gives nourishment, because when one sees that how the Lord is reciprocating, then it increases one's faith. And one feels greatly nourished in one's devotional service. And when tushti and pushti are there, then virakti automatically takes place. Because he is getting such a higher taste and so much of satisfaction that automatically becomes detached from everything material. Okay, read this.
There is an objection that if one possesses knowledge, one attains liberation. In answer to this, the verse says that this knowledge is ahetukam, without motivation for liberation. Ahetukam comes from hetu, meaning causal purpose, just as one can say he lives for eating. This means he lives with the goal of eating. Thus, in this verse, Jnanam ahetukam means knowledge without the goal of liberation. Therefore, by practicing bhakti, which knowledge also manifests without the goal of liberation, the liberation of knowledge does not take place. Knowledge in this case means knowledge and experience of the Lord's form, qualities and sweetness.
Yes, so that's the meaning of the word ahetukam. Means without the motive, without the hetu for liberation. So that's what causeless knowledge. Knowledge of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. That's the knowledge. Okay, we can read this quote of Srila Prabhupada.
Renunciation, try to understand what is. Renunciation, just like we, the members of the Krishna society, we have renounced all material activities, that's all. That is renouncement. Our activities are surrounding only about Krishna. We do not do anything except Krishna business. We are publishing magazines, that is Krishna. We are publishing books, that is Krishna. We are going to the press, that is for Krishna. We are going to the market, that is for Krishna. We are cooking, that is for Krishna. We are living only for Krishna. We are dancing for Krishna, we are chanting for Krishna. So we have renounced. The same things are there in the material life, publishing books, or going to the press, typing, or microphone, or dancing, chanting, these are. But they are not for Krishna, that is for sense gratification. Only for working Krishna, for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is called Vairagya. And to attain that Vairagya, renouncement, one requires sufficient knowledge. That is called Jnana. So this knowledge and renouncement, two things required in human life.
Okay, fine. Okay, so everything for Krishna, for the satisfaction of Krishna. Then the detachment, vairagya will automatically take place. Okay, we already discussed this. Tesham Yamanakam. Okay, let's proceed now. 8th verse. Dharmasvanashtita pumsam vishvaksena tatasuya nautmanyet yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Okay? So, now here, in the next few verses, he describes what is not dharma. So here in the 6th verse he described what is dharma. In the 7th verse he described what are the results of that dharma. Now he is describing what is not dharma. So if dharma is not resulting in Vishwaksena Katasuya, is not resulting in developing rati, an attraction for the messages of the Supreme Lord, then it is simply Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam.
So, what's the meaning of the word Vishwaksena?
Vishwaksena, see the word to word. See the word to word.
The personality of God.
Yes, or plenary portion. So basically it is another name you can say of the Supreme Lord, an expansion of the Supreme Lord. I mean, I've not read anywhere where there's a specific reasoning given as to why exactly Vishwaksena word is used. So I don't know.
It is a combination of Vishwa and Aksha. No? Yes,
Yajna
words.
also Vishwaksena. In Yajna also Vishwaksena.
Yes. In Yajna also there's Vishwaksena, insulation and but basically a plenary portion of the Supreme Lords. Okay. We can read the last paragraph of the purport. The need of the spirit soul.
The need of the spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. He wants to get out of the covered walls of the greater universe. He wants to see the free light and the spirit. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit, the personality of Godhead. There is a dormant affection for God within everyone. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and mind in the form of perverted affection for gross and subtle matter. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagement that will evoke our divine consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord, and any occupational activity which does not help one to achieve attachment for hearing and chanting the transcendental message of Godhead is said here to be simply a waste of time. This is because other occupational duties, whatever ism they may belong to, cannot give liberation to the soul. Even the activities of the salvationists are considered to be useless because of their failure to pick up the fountainhead of all liberties. The gross materialist can practically see that his material gain is limited only to time and space, either in this world or in the other. Even if he goes up to Svargaloka, he will find no permanent abode for his anchoring soul. The anchoring soul must be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service.
Such an amazing purport. So therefore Srila Prabhupada has said that if one simply studies the first canto, that is sufficient for him to achieve full perfection. Because the first canto is just filled with so much of nectar. Srila Prabhupada, he wrote this before he went to the West, and such amazing realizations Prabhupada has put in here. So, before that he gives the example of the bird. Simply by cleansing the cage of the bird, one does not satisfy the bird. One must actually know the needs of the bird himself. So, the need of the bird, or the need of the bird is compared to?
Need of the soul.
Yes, the need of the soul is what?
Nourishment, spiritual nourishment.
Yes, to develop that connection with the Supreme Spirit. The need of the spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. This is the need for the soul. Therefore we find everyone in this world is looking for freedom. Correct? Everyone is looking for freedom. So right from a small child, so tell the small child, please don't make noise, sit here quietly. Does the child listen?
No.
No, I want freedom. So at every stage you can analyze. Everyone is looking for freedom. Afterwards the child goes to school. Does the child like to go to school? No. I have to sit in the class for so long. Oh, I want to play. Then afterwards the child goes to college. You know what students do in college? How many classes do they attend? They're just looking for excuses not to attend. Everyone is looking for freedom. And later on, when people do jobs, what are they looking for?
Leaves.
Yes, they're looking for leaves, holidays, how to do less work. Everyone is looking for freedom. And if the soul comes to devotional service, then again it's the same thing. Oh, so many rules, regulations. Oh, we don't want so many rules and regulations. We want to be free. So many OBs, CBs, shlokas. Oh, we don't want all this. Everyone is looking for freedom. Complete freedom, as Prabhupada says, complete freedom. Why? Why the soul is looking for freedom?
That's the nature of the soul.
Why it's the nature of the soul?
Because Krishna's nature.
Yes, because it's part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is, we studied in the first verse, Swarat.
Independent.
Fully independent. And because the soul is part and parcel, he is also hankering for that independence. But the way to get that full independence is
Dependence on Krishna.
good, perfect.
No, but we can never become fully independent.
Yes, we can never become fully independent like Krishna, but almost. Again, that same purport I was referring to before, Narad Muni, Prabhupada writes, he has almost as much independence as the Supreme Lord. Not fully as Krishna, but almost. But the way to come to that platform of full independence is by full dependence on Krishna, or as Prabhupada writes in second chapter of the Gita, I suppose it's the 63rd verse. Raga dvesha vimuktestu vishyan indriyas charan. In that, right in the translation, Prabhupada writes, by following the regulative principles of freedom. So the regulative principles, the rules and regulations that we follow are meant to give us that ultimate freedom. Correct? That bhakti is meant to give us that freedom. So we're looking for that freedom, but the way to achieve that freedom is by developing an attraction, rati towards the Supreme Lord, rati for the Supreme Lord. That will give us that freedom. And so therefore, the complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. Why Prabhupada is using this word evoke?
It's already there.
Exactly.
The
What's the verse? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karoye Udoi. So, it has to be evoked. This is possible only by hearing and chanting of the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. And any occupational activity which does not help one to achieve attachment for hearing and chanting the transcendental message of God, it is said here to be simply a waste of time. And even the activities of the salvationists, who are the salvationists? Jnanis. are considered to be useless because of their failure. What an amazing phrase! Failure to pick up the fountainhead of all liberties. Who's the fountainhead of all liberties? Krishna, yes. Because only Krishna can give liberation. Therefore, he is the fountainhead. Therefore, he is called as Mukunda.
Mukunda.
Mukunda, one who gives mukti, the fountainhead of all liberties. And because the jnanis, they don't come to that point of understanding Krishna, therefore they don't get the real mukti. And therefore the last statement is really the icing on the cake, as they say. The hankering soul must be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. That is how the hankering soul, every soul is hankering. Hankering for what? Hankering for what? Every soul is hankering for what?
Happiness.
Yes, happiness, freedom. That's what every soul is hankering for. But ignorant people are trying to satisfy that hankering in different ways. Why are people going to the movies and so many forms of entertainment, whether it's cricket or football or whatever it may be? Why? Ultimately, why? To satisfy the hankering soul. The soul is hankering. Since when? Time immemorial, the soul is hankering and hankering and hankering. But even after getting all the things of the material worlds, money, fame, prestige, big bungalows and followers, so many things one may get, but still the hankering soul is not satisfied. Therefore, even after having all that, person commits suicide. Why? The hankering soul is not satisfied. But the hankering soul can only be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. Why is devotional service called a scientific process?
Because there's Gyan and Vigyan. There is a process where you experience.
Okay.
It is not just a theory.
Okay, good, yes. So when you talk of science, what does science mean?
Experimentation.
Practical.
There is theory first. There's theory first, and then there is practical. And then when we actually speak of science, then that methodology is applicable in all time, place, circumstances and person. Correct? Proper simple example. What's that? Hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. Does it make any difference whether the experiment is done in India or America or Europe or anywhere else of the world? No. That is the meaning of science. It does not change. Therefore, Prabhupada says these modern scientists are bogus because they keep changing things. It's not actually science. Science means it should not change. Applicable everywhere, in all circumstances. Devotional service is the real science. And Srila Prabhupada proved it. Whether you practice devotional service in Iceland or whether one practices in Antarctica or any other part of the world, if one follows the process, it has to work. And Srila Prabhupada proved it. Therefore, only devotional service is the perfect scientific process. And there are so many lectures where Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is a science. So many lectures Prabhupada says. So, therefore, the sciences that